Hey all, Hipper here. Today is a comparison day between the new premium commander Beapley and the standard commander Kincaid. And I use them both as an agile build, but as you know, Beapley has a second use, which I'll get into later in this video here. So if we look at my Kincaid first here, and he's level 16-4, so he is fully leveled. And if you look at his base trait, it's not very good. I mean, sonar reload time, who cares? It's really just a thing that's there that you just have to take. So if we move on down here to the fourth row, you have the steer clear skill, and that is what really gives you an agile build with this guy here, because you get a -7% rudder shift with a fully leveled commander. So here on Kincaid, I don't have a Sure Lane Baltimore as an inspiration, because I don't need her. With this build, the rudder is already 1.9 seconds, which is in the perfect spot, so there's no point improving it even more. So the first inspiration I have is Müller here, and he gives 5% more speed. And this build is pretty much my original agile build that I've used on Wichita for a long time, until a Sure Lane Baltimore came out. So 5% extra speed from Müller here. And moving on to the second inspiration here is Fraser, which gives me 3% extra speed. And like I said before, I don't have a Sure Lane Baltimore on Kincaid on Wichita, because I don't need that extra 0.4 second rudder. So I have Fraser instead. So if we have a look at Wichita here with this build, and we'll concentrate on the maneuverability here, you can see we have 40.5 knot and 1.9 second rudder, which is a great agile build, probably one of the best you can actually get in the game. And okay, let's move on to the new commander on the block, which is Beapley, and she was available last month as part of the space thing that was really horrible, by the way. So anyway, Beapley's claim to fame is that she has an extra capability in the fourth row. Now naturally she has steer clear as well, same as Kincaid, but what would be the point of having this commander if you're going to have the same setup? And I'll tell you, there is no point, because Beapley comes with this skill here, which is called Private Zone. And detectability goes down to -8% if you make her legendary 4. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop at 3, because I don't need that extra 2%, because what I really want in this skill is the arrow that shows the direction to the nearest enemy. I don't care that much about the improved detectability. It's nice to have, but it is just that nice to have. So what this skill really does is to give you that pale white indicator at the top that points you to the direction of the nearest ship. And obviously for hunting down destroyers, this skill is extremely helpful. It makes Wichita even more powerful than it already is. So and also naturally remember that Beapley's base skill gives you -8 fire chance, so it's much more useful. So both Beapley and Kincaid share the first inspiration, which is Müller, and just as on Kincaid, he gives Beapley an extra 5% speed, because speed is armor. Speed is just so useful that I cannot live without it, honestly. And instead of Fraser on this Beapley build here, you put on a Sure Lane Baltimore to get that sweet -6% rudder shift. And this way you kind of make up for the fact that you're picking Private Zone as the perk and not steer clear. Because if you look back to Kincaid here, you can see that steer clear gives you -7%. So if you add a Sure Lane Baltimore as an inspiration, like I did before, you get -6%, and it really evens out to the same. Like it's a difference of 1%, and it doesn't really show up in the stats. So if we just have a quick look here, you can see that we're at 39.4 knots and 1.9 second rudder. So compared to the Kincaid build, you're losing 1 knot of speed which is not that important. And at the same time, you're keeping that sweet 1.9 second rudder, and you are getting the private zone skill that really helps out a lot. And you get -8% decreased fire chance, and you also get up to -8% decreased detection, which is also super sweet. So adding all this up, already here, Beapley is a no-brainer. I have enjoyed my Kincaid build, but really, Beapley is a much better choice. And as I said before, she even has another ace up her sleeve here, and that is what is called a stealth radar build. What that means is, if that, say you're not into agile builds, you can actually build a more traditional stealth radar build. And that really means that your detection is lower than your radar radius. And if you pick the private zone skill again on Beapley, you get up to -8% better detectability, which will help you in this build here, because you need to get down to 9 kilometers or below to be like a pure stealth radar build. So the first inspiration for this second build here would be Swirsky, and I have him at 15.1, and that means like decreased detectability of 4%. And of course you'll need a second inspiration as well to get below 9 kilometers, which would be Mikawa. And fully leveled, he gives you -6%. Of course that's not enough. You need to change the third module on the ship from rudder to concealment, which will give you another 10%. So if we just look at the radar on Wichita here, and you can see the detection radius is 9 kilometers. So if you can get as close to 9 kilometers as you can, and preferably 9 or below, then you've got it made. And with this build here, I have 9.1 kilometers. And if I put a few more resources into Swirsky, I will be able to hit 9 or 8.9, something like that, which will make it a true stealth radar build. So as I've said in an earlier video, I have retired Kincaid now, and I am using Beapley on all my US cruisers pretty much, and simply because I run an agile build, and I can run a better agile build with her because she has the private zone skill. And again, if agile builds aren't your thing, she also allows you to run a stealth radar build, which some people might prefer, and I mean, that is a handy bonus in just one commander. So I hope you enjoyed this little comparison here, and I'll see you out there.